Bugis Strata title shops can buy or buy. Hi, my name is Alan from Alan V Property. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In my earlier video, I shared about newer strata title shops and if they are worth buying. In today's video, I'll be discussing more on older strata title shop space found mainly in the city area. In specific, we will only cover those in the Bugis to Waterloo area. I'll be discussing 4 such malls that have a higher volume of transactions so that we can have a meaningful conclusion. They are Fortune Center, Fuso Complex, Sim Lim Square, and Sim Lim Tower. Without further ado, let's head over to the performance now. Firstly, we have Fortune Center. This is a mixed-use development with an office tower above it. It is on 99-year leasehold from 1980. This means there is a remaining lease of 56 years. It is situated along Waterloo Street next to Sri Krishna Temple and the popular Guan Yin Temple. As usual, I will only compare their performance for the past 10 years from 2013 to 2023. Again, a disclaimer here. Please interpret the data with a pinch of salt as there are limited data for some of the projects. Let's take a look at the profitable transaction first. Most of them that own the shop space for more than a decade. As property prices increase over time, it is justifiable that in the long term, they will make a profit if you hold it long enough. Anyway, this is the interior of the mall. Most of the tenants are selling vegetarian food. It seems to be pretty crowded on a weekend, especially on the ground floor. If you are free, you can explore coming here for lunch. As for the historical chart, prices remain pretty stable over the years for those on the upper floors. For those on the ground floor, they are usually more expensive. Prices also remain pretty flat over the decade. Fuso Complex is another strata title mall in the Waterloo area. It's on 99 years lease from 1980. It is located along the busy Albert Street. Bugis MRT is only minutes walk away. This mall is famous for selling religion products and offering feng shui services. There are also a handful of foot massage outlets on the upper stories. The mall looks very nostalgic with its design and remind me of how malls were designed in the 1990s along Orchard Road. The architectural design looks similar to the former Plaza Singapura shopping center with a skylight atrium with shops looking at one another over a long corridor. Here, let us take a look at the profitable transactions. Most of them profited have owned them for easily more than a decade. The annualized return spread from 1% to 5%. This has justified that shop space prices will appreciate over the long term, provided the mall continue to stay relevant. If we look into the historical chart from 2013 to 2023, prices remain pretty flat between the 2,000 to 4,000 per square feet mark. Maybe the depreciating lease could be a concern to some. Next, we have Sim Lim Square. This is a 99 years leasehold mall with office on the upper story. It is situated at the junction of Rochor Canal Road and Bencoolen Street. Rochor MRT station is just next to it. This is an interesting mall. During its former glory, this mall was always packed with shoppers who hunt for the latest tech gadgets to computers. There was a flurry of activities from 2004 to 2014. Then came the bad publicity of unethical sales practice from 2013 onwards. Consumers start to stay away from this mall. Plus, the shift in consumer behavior in buying online has indirectly affected Sim Lim Square business. When human traffic decline, we can observe that transaction volume also decline. If I zoom closer into the last 10 years historical chart, we can see that the prices have seen a slow decline to date. Let us study the profitable transaction. Those that make money as usual bought them many years ago. A seller who held on the unit for 19 years has seen a $2 million profit. Pretty awesome in my opinion. However, let's take a look at the unprofitable transaction. There are surprisingly 90 unprofitable transactions to date. If I look at them closer, most of them were bought between 2011 to 2013. This also coincides with the popularity of newer strata title malls for sale, like those malls that I mentioned in my earlier video. when those newer malls are selling for $5,000 to $6,000 per square feet, investors thought they were buying an undervalued shop at $3,000 per square feet in the heart of the city. However, what they didn't realize is bad publicity plus the rise of e-commerce has turned its fortune. For those who lose money, take comfort. At least you are not losing 50% of your value like those in the newer malls. Anyway, one seller lost more than $2 million buying a ground floor unit for $11,000 per square feet back in 2011. It was initially bought for $4 million and subsequently sold for $1.8 million. The last mall we are going to discuss is Sim Lim Tower. It is the only freehold strata-titled mall in our discussion. This mall mainly sells electronic goods. It also comprises an office tower on the upper floor. What interests me is the resale transaction. Prices has remained relatively stable as seen from this historical chart for the past 10 years. If I zoom out to 1996, the last peak occurred between 2012 to 2014. This also coincides with the sale of newer strata-titled shops plus the introduction of ABSD for the residential segment, which may have diverted investors to the shop space arena instead. However, when I was looking through the profitable transactions, there is an interesting observation. This 3,200 square feet shop space was initially purchased for $4 million at 1,249 per square feet back in 2017. The seller flipped it in 2018 for $5.2 million. In just 14 months, he made $1.1 million profit. Thereafter, this seller flipped it again in 2022 for $6.7 million for the cool $1.5 million profit. In my opinion, these are savvy investors, someone with an eye for detail. There is much to learn here. In conclusion, what can we all learn here? Older strata-titled malls in the Bugis, Waterloo vicinity have higher human traffic as compared to those in the heartland. These shops are also operated by long-term business that have cemented their position in their respective trade. These malls have also become specialty malls such as from vegetarian to electronic and from religion products to feng shui services. There has been less volatility in terms of prices over the past decade due to a lack of newer strata-titled malls for sale. In addition, the rise of e-commerce may have indirectly led to business owners scaling back their brick and mortar space. It's not easy to find undervalued properties in this segment. One must be very familiar with strata-titled space to uncover any gem, as this segment is very fragmented. A ground floor unit and those on the upper story can command vastly differences in prices. A unit near the entrance and those away from human traffic will also have drastic differences. However, we can learn from those with an eye for detail, who can spot deals like the transaction in Sim Lim Tower that was flipped twice in just 7 years. This means there are still opportunity to make money in this asset class. If you invest in the right one, you sure what. If you invest in the wrong one, you could be stuck for good. Who knows? The recent ABSD revision could again entice investors to enter. What about foreign entities and family homes? They are priced out of the shophouse segment to consider the retail sector instead. If you are a seller, should you consider selling and cashing out? Please kindly contact me if you have plans to explore your investment plans. That's all. I hope you enjoy it. In my other video, we will explore malls in the Orchard Road area. See you soon.